Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing game rules by Chaos. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. While we try very hard to stick to language for all ages, listeners should know that this podcast may include mature themes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., that may bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your keeper. Thank you for joining us again for another episode of the Old Ways Podcast. My name is Michael Diamond. I will serve as your keeper this evening. We rejoin our story, our Masks of Nyarlathotep campaign, in England, where our investigators are about to find themselves in a thicket, or perhaps a bush or a tree. More on that in a minute. Introductions first. To my right.
Lonnie, I'll be playing Lawrence Edward Oliver Forsyth, and yeah, hello again.
Hello again, indeed, to his right.
This is Morgan. I play Lillian Lane, and yes, we're still in Europe.
You are, in fact, truly still in Europe. At the end of the table.
This is Jake. I'll be playing Jack Doyle, and I'm trying to stay alive both in and out of game tonight.
Yes, Jake is currently a member of the Walking Wounded, but he is soldiering on, much like his investigator did in World War I. To Jake's right.
This is James. I'll be playing Dr. Sigmund Tartenbach, and I'm going to scoot just a little away from Jake.
To the doctor's right.
This is Tiffany. I play Maeve O'Shea, and so werewolves, maybe.
That seems like conjecture. Do you have any evidence?
Not yet, but we will get some.
I believe it. And then last but most certainly not least.
This is Alex. I'll be playing Simon Granger, and as we've come to learn, he enjoys bird watching and cartography.
Indeed. Okay, we will lift the curtain tonight on a village, a fair village in Derby, as we have been corrected. What we have is Simone in a hedge or up in a tree, using scoping out the Castle Plum, or Plum Castle, as it is also known. And so we'll start there. The scene is at night, so there's very little in the way of light other than perhaps a few lit lanterns that are near the castle itself, and then the lights outside the Laughing Horse Inn. After doing some analysis of the area, you begin to make your approach.
Yes.
How are you approaching?
So I don't really, if I'm kind of like painting a picture of what it might look like in my head, you said it's up on a hill, right? Mm-hmm. And there's like a road that goes up toward the main gate, and that's kind of the only way up. What I would probably do is move through the woods next to the road just to remain out of view until I get as close as I have to. Is the perimeter like fenced in? Like, is there a hard gate?
As we'd mentioned before, Plum Castle is up on a ridge of sorts. It's up on a hill. It's about 200 feet or so above the village itself. It's a winding road that leads directly from the village to the castle's entrance. It's basically the single method of getting up there relatively easily. There is a second longer road that leads from the village and passes near the castle. So it's just a short walk from there to the walls and towers of the ancient fortress itself.
So there's another road that goes around, like behind the grounds?
It goes along basically part of the castle length itself. You could walk that way, but basically once you get there, it would be a sheer climb up those rocks to get to the castle grounds.
I'm not that brave. Not today. Then yeah, I would enter the grounds from the front and just try to remain in cover. Because really, I'm not trying to necessarily like get inside a building, but I want to get a better understanding of the castle itself and what kind of windows does it have, or how many entrances are there. I'm assuming there's plenty because it's a castle. But I kind of want to understand the purposes of those areas. Like if there's if it's all kind of pomp and circumstance, foyer, lots of rooms that are opulent or whatever, or whether there are like service entrances or a kitchen, or I guess up where they store their food. A building this large is going to have, it's got to have service. I mean, I've been watching people come and go all day.
Yeah, there haven't been a ton of people, but there have been a few. So if you make your way up that long and winding path that goes directly to the castle, in the cover of darkness, it is fairly easy for you to approach the castle without any challenges directly to your hidden nature. I'll just put it that way.
Okay.
There are hedges, there are trees, short trees that you could use as a bit of cover from any direct light. There is, it seems, once you get closer to the top of the hill, you can kind of see it from about 3/4 of the way up. There is what looked like a pathway of sorts that goes around the side of the castle.
Interesting. And does it put me close enough to be able to see the castle without putting me like in next to it?
Actually, it's the latter rather than the former. So this pathway that goes around the castle is, relatively speaking, directly butting up against the castle itself. This is very much a very old English style castle in the sense that there isn't a lot of foreground area for people to walk around, and that's part of the reason why it's a safe place, because there's no spot for you to pitch a standing army.
I see. So it's like built at the peak.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
yeah,
it
looks like
cliff on either side.
There was a 200-foot hill, and they chopped off the top of it, and they laid the castle with. And you haven't been around the back yet, so you don't know if there's anything behind it. But yeah, for the most part,
I think that's where I'll start trying to make my way to. So if I need to skirt like the outer perimeter, I will. I won't pay too much attention to the walls or windows, other than to make sure that I'm, nobody's just like seeing me walk through the grass or whatever here. But I would like to get a view around the back of the building.
Yeah, that'll require a stealth roll for sure.
Sure. Okay. 40 under 75.
Okay. You make your way to the right. It is the least obstructive path around here. The left, you could go left, but the issue is that the road comes in on the right-hand side of the front of the castle, and to go left is essentially to cross the face of the entire front of the castle, where most of the direct windows appear to be.
Okay.
Going right, you skirt around, and you see a couple of windows, although they're fairly high up. You want to say that these windows are probably set about 8 feet off the ground.
So really tall ceilings in this place.
And also, the windows here are fairly thin. So they're not even what you would consider traditional windows. They feel more like a tactical purpose. They're not arrow slits by any means, but they were definitely purpose-built.
Okay. Does it look like they are windows that open, or does it look like they're windows that are kind of more like in a church, where they're just kind of, there? Yeah, are they just part of the wall?
These are probably those. They're more decorative than they are purpose-built.
Yeah, that's fine. That's why they have doors.
Right.
Yeah, I'll stay low and make my way around.
You do that. It probably goes for a good 30 yards or so as you circumvent the front half right. You can tell just by moving along that pathway, there is maybe 2 yards of width to the path, and then beyond that it is stones and the 200-foot drop. making your way down that side of the castle, you see about 4 or so windows, very similar to the ones that you passed that were in the front. And then as you get around towards the back, you can see the back corner after a bit, because there does seem to be a lantern that sits on a pole near the back.
Okay. Is this the place, is it wider than it is long then?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. So, nearing the back of the castle itself, you can see something beautiful reveals itself. So back beyond the castle itself, there does seem to be a flattening out of the grounds. And there also does seem, just through the moonlight, that you get a good vantage of an elegant garden that they have.
Okay. And this is also built into the top of the mountain, or is it?
Yeah. Well, it's not a mountain. It's an aggressive hill.
Okay, the hill, yeah.
So it's built in. There's a French flair to these gardens that you were not expecting. And then it does seem as you look left down the back part of the castle, there are French doors on the back half.
Oh, of the castle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will note them.
Those are nearest to you right now. You do see another entrance more to the middle, smaller door, and your first bet is it's likely a kitchen.
Okay, kitchen entrance in the back, gardens in the back. I'm not going to spend too much time in the gardens, but does it look like the gardens are kind of nested up here? Like there's no other way to get to the gardens other than either that treacherous path that I took, or what, like through these doors? Like what?
Pretty much,
what other?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much. You can also see that there's just through the moonlight. Again, a lot of this visible light that you're getting is from the full moon.
Mm-hmm.
So off beyond the gardens, more towards the diametric corner that you entered in on, you can see that there are stone structures over in the far back corner.
Oh, okay. Like built back, further back?
Like an outbuilding of some type. It's on the grounds, though.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'll get low and I guess I'll creep through the garden.
Okay.
Right, that's... sounds...
The most obvious path would be to go through the garden.
Okay.
I mean, it's either that or skirt the entire edge.
Well, is anybody walking around out here?
This late at night, you do not see another person.
Okay. Then yeah, I will go investigate these structures.
You're moving along through the gardens. Why don't you give me a listen roll?
Sure. Hard success, 19 over 60.
You hear movement in the garden close to you. It doesn't sound large. It sounds more like a scraping at first through the hedge. Something moves from one hedge to another.
My heart stops. My breathing stops. Is it like an animal?
You're not quite sure. It rustled some of the hedges and leaves, though.
Did it sound large?
It sounded probably like a dog, as far as size goes, or a small to medium-sized dog.
Okay.
You hear a few more scrapes. You see that also there's quite a bit of there's several stone paths that separate parts of the garden.
Okay. Well, if it's relatively ornate, I don't know. I mean, I'm not assuming there's like a hedge maze, but if there are some lines of hedges that I can try to put between myself and whatever it is I'm hearing, I will take the time to very slowly reach into my bag and pull out some of the leftovers that I've been saving, and I will leave them on the ground as I move away from them, trying to put something between myself and whatever I'm hearing.
In the distance, there is a low and almost guttural bay.
Oh, man.
It starts at the lower register and sweeps its way up long and slow. And it isn't really the first one that pricks the back of your neck with terror. It's the second and third that join it.
Like I'm hearing more than one of these things.
You are.
Are they close?
It's hard to say.
Do they sound closer than they did when I was in the town?
Yes.
It's reassuring. I'd probably pause for, I don't know, a good 8, 9, 10 seconds. It probably feels like an eternity.
It definitely does in the back of your throat a little bit. And it also feels like that in the center of your chest, because it is difficult to keep your heart from hammering away at what your ears are telling it.
I will continue moving very slowly and make myself as small as possible.
All right, why don't you give me another stealth roll?
I really don't want to.
I know, but I want you to.
Oh, shoot. How much luck can I blow?
It's a
In
skill.
one go?
You can blow as much luck as you'd like. I will just say that, yeah, I mean, there's only so much luck to go around.
There really is.
So that's an 83 over a 75, so you'd have to spend at least 8 luck to make that a standard success.
I'm glad I wasn't
You
rolling
don't
that.
you don't roll luck, you just spend it.
Yeah, I hit the wrong button. Sorry, my hands are shaking.
I understand.
I'm going to hit this edit button, and I'm going to change my luck to a much lower number. Yeah, I spent 8.
Okay, you spent 8. So you realize that moving back the way you came is problematic because it will force you to put your back potentially to whatever's in front of you. And so you begin to move parallel. There are some hedges on the outside of the French Gardens here that give you a lot more cover. And you move in to these hedges.
Does it move me toward the structures or away from them?
It moves you parallel to them.
Okay.
It's closer technically because you're moving closer to the back, but you're not getting any direct line to them.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'd like you to make me a spot hidden roll.
Somebody want to blow on these dice for me?
Well,
41 out of 50.
okay. That's a success. In the moonlight, attached to this stone edifice, which you begin to slowly come to the realization must be some sort of mausoleum.
Of course it is.
You see 3 forms, and these forms are hunkered down near the entrance and around the front, and they appear to be hunched over dark shapes. They're humanoid-ish. They seem a bit strange in their visages. They have massive upper bodies, and you see their arms, biceps are corded with thick strands of muscle. Their front thighs that they seem to bob up and down on are wide and muscled as well. The one in the middle stops and turns its head. Its rather grisly head up towards the moon, and you hear it call out a long and throated bay. And it carries over on the wind. It invades the hedges and then invades your mind. And that's when you roll sanity.
Oh my goodness! That's a 96 out of 73.
I did get dice for my birthday. So you're going to lose 3 points of sanity.
Okay, done.
Your mind reels with the possibilities of what this thing could be. The other two join in, and you can see their filthy clawed hands scrape at the ground and scrape at this mausoleum's beautiful white stone, and almost as if they're furious with the structure. They beat their limbs against it with a unflinching force, and a turn towards the house and give another deep-throated howl, and then move into the darkness out of your sight.
I mean, I probably just kind of stay there in stunned silence. I was going to be in stunned silence, but I realized that I should probably say something. So here we are. What does losing 3 sanity feel like?
You hear Elias's voice in your head. You hear him, when you were much younger, talking about the cases of your now fellow investigators while they were recovering in Los Angeles, trying to tell you that there were things that they could not explain that happened in Peru, things that, for him, pushed any belief in a normal manner of what happens on God's earth aside, and that these creatures, these things do exist. And he gave you this fervent speech, which you absorbed at the time, and it only now bubbles up years later in your mind. He also sincerely prayed that you would never encounter anything like it.
Well, it would be kind of impossible to be on his trail and not, I think. I mean, that's something that Maeve warned me of too. Okay.
You look down and you find your right hand is shaking. You have a weapon now in hand. You don't remember removing it and preparing it, but it's there.
Take a deep breath, holster it. You said they moved off?
It seems that way, yeah. You don't see them, and nor do you hear them anymore.
Okay. Well, at this point, I don't know. Like, there's a part of me that really just wants to tuck tail and get the hell out of here. But based on what I saw, I don't know if I can. So I'm going to approach the mausoleum and try to, I guess, get an understanding as to why it would be so important to these things.
Approaching the mausoleum is a feat of willpower in and of itself. The stout wooden door is something that you've seen really only here in England. There are a pair of beautiful weeping angels atop the mausoleum, covered mostly in ivy, but their gaze does not seem to relent as you approach. You can see the ground around the front of the mausoleum torn and clawed at.
Does it look like this? Does it look like this happens a lot?
No, this seems very fresh.
Or is this just tonight?
You don't see any previous markings from it.
Okay. I guess I will plug one ear and listen at the door. Is there something in here?
You listen at the door. You could make a listen roll if you'd like.
Sure. Nope, that's an 87 out of 60.
Yeah, you don't hear anything.
I hear the pounding of my heart.
Besides that.
Yeah.
You realize also, too, that your hands are far more sweaty than you'd remember them being.
Yeah. I will attempt to absentmindedly kind of wipe them on my pants. Does the house at all seem disturbed or responding to these noises at all?
No, and that could perhaps be the strangest thing about this. The castle has not changed its stance. It is still quiet and mostly dark.
Wow. Okay. That's also unsettling. Does it look like if they were clawing at it, I'm guessing this door is like latched or closed or locked or something, right?
You'd have to test the door, but...
Oh, fine.
Good.
I will give it a slight nudge.
Yes, it's completely unlocked.
What? Were they clawing at the door or the ground?
It seems they were clawing up the ground.
Oh man. Can I call an audible while I get my brain together?
An audible, sure.
Yeah, like a scene change.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm happy to go back.
I'm a little tense.
So the rest of you are preparing for an evening of sleep. And as you're preparing, now that could be Maeve reading a book to kind of get herself into the rhythm to prepare to sleep. Jack might be having a drink with the doctor at the bar to ease him into the land of dreams. Maybe not all the way like you've been before, but maybe somewhat. But I'd like to offer all of you who are back at the Laughing Horse Inn a listen roll.
Lillian got a success with 39 over 70.
I got a hard success. Nice.
92 over 68, not even close.
That's a hard success. 9 under 30.
Okay, so Jack, tell me where you are.
Probably in the common room of the inn.
Okay, fair enough. And then Lawrence, tell me where you are.
I am probably in my room.
Okay. So Jack, I'll start with you. While you're, probably having a beer or whatnot at the bar with the rest of your compatriots or those who are choosing to stay up, you very clearly hear over the hum of the bar, the din they're in, the guys playing darts, some of the other conversation. You hear what you think is a howl. And then you hear it again and again. It's very distinct. But just looking around, it doesn't seem like anyone else has reacted. And then, Lawrence, while you're upstairs trying to appropriate yourself some rest and recuperation, you very clearly hear what sounds like howling. It's a bit far off, but the second and third time that it happens makes it unmistakable.
Well, the doctor's not here, and Simon's not here, but I think the ladies are in their room, so I will go knock on their door very quickly.
No, I think I'm in my room.
I thought you were having a drink with Jack.
Was I? Were we still having a drink with Jack?
It's totally up to you. It is your character.
Mm.
You can be in your room if you want.
I didn't hear a thing, so I think I'm in my room, bedding down for the evening, put on a record of German opera or something.
Then in that case, I will stop you and say, did you hear that?
Was ist das?
Doctor, you didn't hear it?
I didn't hear anything. What did
There
you
was
hear?
a howl outside.
Well, I did not hear that, but if that's what you think you heard, I will put on my clothes back on and go ahead and soldier out. It would not do to go out in my evening wear. One moment.
All right. Jack, what's your reaction?
Well, obviously nobody around here is paying any attention. Right?
It doesn't appear to be that.
Yeah, and nobody else is down here with me.
Nope, they've left you to drink alone. Just like a hard-boiled detective.
That's right. And I do know that Simone was supposed to still be out there somewhere, so I am not going to leave him out there, wherever he may be.
That's nice of you.
Yeah, well, so I am going to leave quickly.
Okay.
And I don't know where it came from, but I know Simone was going to go check out the castle. So I will slowly make my way that way. Walk. I'm not going to run or anything. I'll walk that way.
Sure. You begin moving towards the castle. Lawrence, you grab a few things maybe, or are you heading directly downstairs?
I think I will pocket my pistol.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea.
Because it's likely unmistakable at this point, ladies, you can hear that there is some sort of fracas going on upstairs among the rooms at the inn. There are multiple people moving around.
Same. Knock on their door, what's going on?
You go out and you see The doctor shrugging his way into his coat. He seems to be preparing to move.
Doctor, what's going on?
Lawrence apparently hears something, some sort of howling or something. So I'm going to accompany him. You're welcome to come with.
I'm already still dressed in my lady pants.
I don't think it's a good idea.
With pockets. What? Wait a minute
It's
here.
a good idea for you to go with us.
I'm already holding my axe.
Wait,
Jesus,
you came
that
to our
was
door with an axe. I really don't think it's a good idea for you. I really don't think it's a good idea for you to go with us.
She has
All right,
a
well,
rusty axe.
Oh, it's not rusty. All right, I'm going to drink at the bar then.
With an axe.
With the axe.
With the axe.
Okay, Lizzie Borden.
Okay, so you're gonna chase down this howl when we've already determined that we don't have any silver?
Simon's out there.
Okay. Take your arsenal.
Doctor shrugs helplessly and follows Lawrence.
I will turn and go back to my reading.
Miss Lane, you are going downstairs to the bar?
Yes, I am. I'm dressed. I'm gonna go down to the bar and have a drink.
You head downstairs. The two gentlemen head down shortly thereafter. And are you, Doctor and Lawrence, are you moving outside, or are you going just downstairs?
I'm going downstairs and out. If
Okay.
anybody wants to say anything, well, I've been told that there's no worries to be wandering the countryside. I'm going for an evening constitutional.
I will pause briefly at Miss Lane.
Miss Lane, I do not have a problem with you accompanying us if you would like to go with. More the merrier.
I'll stick here in case, we hear anything else come up.
Very well, Fräulein.
So the two of you head outside. Sigmund, Lawrence, where are you headed to?
I'm going to consult with the doctor real fast. Doctor, Simon was headed to the castle, wasn't he?
I do believe he was, yeah?
Maybe we should wander up the road towards it, just in case. See if we meet him along the way.
A sound idea. I agree.
Speaking of, Simon, you push that door.
Yeah. So, okay. Having taken a moment to gather my senses, two questions. One, does the door open in or out?
Definitely in.
Okay. So I will trim a bit of the hem of my coat, like a longer strip of it, and I'm going to tuck it into the door and then pull it shut.
Okay.
I'm staying on the outside. I'm not going in there. But I'm going to try to tuck it away so that it wouldn't necessarily be obvious if it fell, but I want to be able to see it. So it'd probably be like near-ish to the ground without, much sticking out.
Sure, that makes sense.
And I'm getting the hell out of here.
So you're opening the door, you're putting in a bit of your jacket, and then you're exiting stage right?
Right was the way I came in. So yes. So yes, I will leave the same way that I came, as I'm at least a little bit familiar with that path, and I don't have to go wandering into any unexplored territory.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a stealth roll.
Come on, Simon. Yeah, I can't get caught here. So I will be spending 10 points of luck to make that in a 75. And I will barely keep my senses about me. I will swear at myself for every twig snap and every uncertain foot pacement, and I will thank the high heavens for the fact that the windows are 8 feet above the ground.
You move, probably for yourself, far faster than you had wanted to.
Mm-hmm, sure.
But you do manage to get back towards the front of Plum Castle, and then at that point, you basically ferret your way back down the long and winding road back towards the village.
Once I'm comfortable with my distance, I'm running as fast as my feet will carry me. I will allow my loss of sanity to fuel my feet.
Well, sanity loss doesn't increase movement rate, unfortunately.
That's fine.
But
I'm passionate about it, though.
It increases movement motivation, though.
Does it increase my constitution temporarily?
no,
Focus on my
unfortunately
breathing.
not. Okay, So the nice part about this is within probably 4 or 5 minutes, Lawrence and the doctor run into, not quite literally, but they see Simon running back their way.
I continue running. Well, if I see them, I run at them.
Okay.
And as soon as I think they can hear me, I'm going to wave my arms frantically and say, "Go back! Turn around!" And I will keep waving, and like I'll if I'm running past them, I will grab the nearest one by the jacket and pull them. It won't be the doctor because that's mean. He's got a cane. I'll grab Lawrence and I will pull him along.
He seems pretty sure about this. I'll follow him.
Yeah. Sure.
And I'm going to run until I feel safer.
You find yourself in front of the Laughing Horse Inn.
Okay, I collapse.
I thought you were going to say you find yourself in outer London.
I find yourself at the car. Yeah, I'll allow myself to collapse in front of the doctor and just try to catch my breath.
Doctor, your newest patient is definitely fraught.
Kneel down next to him, check his pulse, check his eyes.
180
Tell me what
over
happened.
90.
Calm down.
I listen to the EDM in my heart.
Pretty much.
I'm going to keep my eyes and ears out.
Tell me what happened.
I'll just kind of vaguely gesture toward the door and like try to get to my feet and stumble in.
Give him what little help I can.
You stumble in to see Lillian. So I'll move the camera for a second. Jack, when you went out for your walk, where did you end up going when you went towards the castles? Did you go up the ramp to the castle, or did you go around the longer road?
I probably would have gone along the longer road.
So what I'll have you do when you ferret along that road is I'll have you make a spot hidden roll.
Oh, that'd be a terrible, terrible roll.
Ah, yes. Yes, 99 over 92 is bad. You keep walking. You use the moonlight as a wonderful spotlight on all of the village roads. And you get a really good look at the castle in the moonlight, and you see the sheer cliffs that it sits on top of. I mean, it's almost 200 feet straight up. And you almost admire its defensible point.
It's not really necessary now, but I'm sure at one time this was a pretty stout fortress.
You can imagine that back hundreds of years ago, this castle would have been probably one of several in the line here in the north that would have served.
Well, not seeing Simone, I guess I will continue looking around because I know he's out here somewhere.
Indeed. Why don't you make me a listen roll?
No. Terrible listen roll.
It's not something you hear or something you see. It really becomes something you smell. Unfortunately, by the time you smell it, you feel it as well. You feel the wind rush over your head, and it nearly spins you around. You've been in a ton of different scrapes in your career. You know when you're about to get sucker punched. You're not sure how they missed you, but whatever just swung at you missed bad.
Okay, I will make basically I will roll out of the way. Because I don't want to continue standing wherever the heck I'm at if something just swung and missed me.
You move out of the way. You probably not pirouette, but you sidestep and you get into line of a tree. And that's really when you see it in the hedge. This massive body, upper body, and a face that is a bit indiscernible, but you can tell that it has a mangled front face and just nasty, sharp teeth, and that's when it lets rip this howl in front of your face. And then you want to say it.
Well, that is a successful sanity roll.
You stare the howl in the face, and you somehow retain control over your muscles. They still continue to function for you. Those of you back at the Laughing Horse Inn hear yet another howl.
I probably, are we inside? Is the door shut? If not, I'm going to slam it shut and look at the group, I guess, and everybody else that's inside.
The bartender looks at you in a very strange way. You all right?
I'm going to come downstairs.
Was the wind?
Do I know that Jack is outside?
No. To answer your question, Sigmund, you do not know Jack's outside.
Okay.
Pardon me. I did not mean to cause a stir. If you'll excuse me, I should probably find a place to lie down. It has been a bit of a long night.
You come downstairs, Maeve.
Is everyone there?
No. You don't see Jack.
Where's Jack?
That's an excellent question. Mr. Doyle, what's your dexterity?
60.
60. All right. It is going to take another swing at you.
I will attempt to dodge, I think.
That is an excellent idea. You could also fight back if you wanted to.
Well, I'm just trying to get far enough away so I can pull a gun.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to hurl yourself to the left side. You're in not a thicket of trees, but there's a few trees around you here, and then a hedge that runs along the path you were walking on. But you move far enough away with this dodge roll that you feel like you've got space to get your gun out.
And then I am going to unload.
Okay.
Not with that roll. That one will hit.
Mm-hmm.
And that one will miss. Okay, so just one shot.
Okay, go ahead and roll damage. Okay. You fire off a shot, and you see it take the bullet somewhere in its upper body. It growls in response. For those of you at the inn, you hear 3 successive pistol shots in the distance.
I think we figured out what Jack is.
Oh, Mill.
Out the door.
Yeah, pretty much.
Actually, I'm staying at the inn. I've already went out there once, and my hip is starting to hurt pretty bad, so I'll wait for them to come back.
Anybody else staying with the doctor?
I am.
I am.
I buy us around.
Yeah. I'll actually drink.
Oh, wow.
Nobody inside the inn reacts to gunshots?
They do. We will get to it in a minute, Lawrence. So, it leaps at you, Jack, from its crouch position.
I'll dodge. Oh, no.
That is a hard success for it.
And that is not a hard success for me.
No, it is not. Gotta love birthday dice.
No, you do not.
So that's 3 damage, and it will swipe at you again. It comes in close to you, and you can feel its clawed hands rake across your clothing, and it digs into the flesh of your chest. And your brain explodes a bit as nerve endings are immediately set on fire. When it does this, it has enough force to not only knock you back, but to lean its upper body forward and snap at you with its mouth, which it does not connect on. So the snap of its jaws give you a real up-close and personal smell of the baleful odor that exists in its mouth. Back at the bar, as the pistol shots ring out and you begin, those of you who leave, begin moving back out, you can see that the innkeeper here is alarmed. And so are several of the other people here just trying to have a good drink on a night. What is going on? You see several of them pile outside with the rest of the investigators who went out. Jack, if you'd like to act, you can.
All right, I will continue to fire because I don't got many other That's a hard success. Success.
Those of you who are at the bar, if you'd like to make a spot hidden roll, go ahead and actually a listen roll for the gunshots to give you directions. So yeah, give me a listen roll for the gunshots.
All right.
Nope.
Ooh, 13 out of 20.
20 out of 70?
4 under 68. Extreme success, baby.
Oh my
Those
god.
of you who made your listen rolls know that they are directly coming from Castle Plum.
Okay.
So you know that's the direction of the gunfire. Jack, if you'd like to roll damage, you can.
That'll be 6 on the first shot, 4 on the second, and 5 on the third.
You fire off 3 successive shots, and you feel each one that comes out give a reasonable recoil through your hand. You feel it vibrate all the way up your shoulder. This creature takes each one and seems to stagger backward. And just when you thought it might move to raise its hand to claw at you again, it turns and leaps into the hedge to your right.
Well, I am going to waste no time in getting the F out of there.
Back at the bar, I look at Maeve. I certainly hope he killed it. He's out of shots now.
I just know that I'm no good out there, so all we can do is sit here and wait.
I tink her glass with mine before drinking the rest of it.
So those of you on the path making your way towards the castle down that way are also joined by several villagers. And it isn't long until you see a bloodied, pistol smoke-covered Jack Doyle make his way back towards the village.
Grab Jack very quickly. I assume I see blood.
Oh yeah, unmistakably.
What happened, Jack?
That's no goddamn wolf or dog. That's what happened.
I will direct Simon to tuck under the other arm, and we will hustle him to the doctor with all available speed.
Yeah, you're getting pretty well covered in your own blood now, Jack.
No, that's good.
The villagers who are here obviously react to Jack's wounds, and they look frightened.
Mike, after I finish my drink, I go upstairs and grab my doctor bag and head back downstairs, kind of sensing the fact that it's going to be necessary at least once this evening.
Miss O'Shea, you finish your drink far sooner than you normally would.
And I will prepare to help the doctor. Help him get his stuff out, help him,
Simone, where are you running to?
Oh, no, I was helping Jack get back and just kind of covering our exit, making sure that nothing was behind us, I guess, assuming that he saw what I saw.
Simone, I'm glad you made it back.
I did. You came looking for me?
Of course I came looking for you. I heard the howls. I knew you were out here, so I went looking.
Thank you. I told you I would be back in the morning. Come on. I will attempt to... Is he still holding his pistol in his hand?
Oh, yeah.
And gesticulating with it? I will either help him holster it or gently take it from his hand and reassure him that he's okay.
You think I'm going to holster this pistol at this moment? You're out of your damn mind.
You should put pressure on your wound.
You guys get him into the inn. You see Sigmund has already begun preparing, along with Miss O'Shea, some wraps and stuff like that.
Are we doing this in the bar, or are we taking upstairs?
Well, I don't know.
There's a table right here.
Right.
All
That's
right.
kind of
That
my
works for
thought.
me.
This is an old English pub. This is not the first time somebody has had their wounds patched up in a chair here.
Or on
Right.
a table.
Okay, come on, dice. All right, I will go ahead and spend the 5 luck
Yep.
to make that normal.
Okay. So you staunch the bleeding over a little bit of time. And Jake, you heal a single hit point.
Oh boy.
Yep.
I have a blue jay peck out the wound.
I'm guessing that the locals are making their way back. Are they following us back, or did they?
No, they went to their homes, it looked like.
Oh, okay.
They're scared to death.
Okay. I didn't know if they came out with, like, if they followed us out to where we met up with Doyle,
Yeah,
or
based-
whether. Okay.
Yeah, so sorry, basically the those of them who were in the village that headed out with you got close enough to see you kind of recover Jack, and then once they saw he had a pistol in his hand and he was bleeding all over the place, they fled.
Okay.
You hear a stern voice in the inn speak up. What's the meaning of this? Those of you who are paying attention see Constable Turnbull in the open doorway. What's going on?
One of our friends was attacked.
Yeah, it appears your dog isn't dead.
Either that or the ghosts here are more lively than I thought.
I would at least hope that Monsieur Doyle wounded it.
Well, I put 4 rounds in him, so I think it's wounded, but it certainly isn't dead.
Well, I would say that maybe you are among the proud few, those who have survived an attack, no?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get Jack a drink. Something stiff and brown.
Oh, there's
Phrasing? Are we doing that?
No, we're not doing that.
Oh.
The innkeep is more than happy to pour a liberal amount for Jack.
I drank the first one and I put the glass back on the bar.
One for me,
He pours
one
another.
for Jack. 2 for me, 1 for Jack.
That goes right to the hips. All right, I swagger back over to Jack and I slap it in his hand.
Thank you.
Well, I would say perhaps you distracting this thing allowed me to return safely, so it's the least I can do. How's the wound look? Sorry.
I was to say, I'm examining the wound. First of all, how bad is it?
It's fairly deep, although it's not so much that the wound is massive. It's that whatever cut him was exceedingly sharp. And it's pretty clear to you as a doctor that this is it has to be some sort of animal. Because there's definite claw patterns.
How many claws does it have?
Well, it connected with 3.
So, in my reading, he could potentially turn into one, correct? If I think it's a werewolf.
Yeah, it's reasonable to assume that he could turn into one.
Awesome. I'm not saying anything to anybody yet, because, now is not the time.
I mean,
In front of the innkeep?
that's totally your call.
No.
You are the person with that sort of knowledge. So
Not the right time. It's never the right time.
That is true, but discretion.
Is it just us, the innkeeper, and now the constable?
yeah, and the constable's probably approached a little bit closer to Doyle, and he says, "I'll need you to give me a statement of what you saw and heard."
Can you not see that our man is wounded? You can wait until the morning. And I put myself between the constable and Doyle.
He probably swells a bit at your attempt to get in his way. He looks you. He's a rather tall man. He's also a rather wide man.
Sure.
He looks down at you and says, "If your man's hurt, but breathing. I expect to speak with him in the morning. Do you understand?
We will have many questions for you as well. Put on foot on your stupid dog. Turn back
turns
around.
And he walks out.
I said good day.
And that is a perfect time for us to call this episode. So I want to thank everybody who's helped make this episode fun and enjoyable. Hopefully you're enjoying our romp through England. I have a special thank that I have to give out to folks. And we had a new backer this week. Actually, we got a backer during the show. So I'm going to just kind of kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. So this backer specifically backed us earlier in the week. And his name is Rick. So Rick from Falls Church, we appreciate it. Rick said that he backed our Patreon because we help him get through, I guess, early morning drives or maybe I can only imagine traffic in and around the area. So we greatly appreciate your backing us. Hopefully you will join Rick. And our friend of the show, Silas, has decided to also back the Patreon as well. So we greatly appreciate his support as well. So we look forward to seeing you on the next episode and seeing what happens to the fallout for our investigating crew. So have a good night, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.